Hello YouTube. So today I'm gonna talk about a very important concept in programming, that is actually pointers, and how address manipulation takes place using pointers, and how value manipulation takes place using pointers. So before we get started, you need to know that how actually a computer, a processor, knows what to look for when it is looking for something. It knows that, and where to look for. Okay, so it knows that because everything that we feed or we store in our computer, that is associated with its own address in the memory. That particular thing, or that particular data, to be more appropriate, is stored at its own particular address. No two different things can have same address, and the best way while programming in C to access that address, not only the value but address of a particular variable may be, is by using pointers. Pointer is a variable, you can say, but it's something that points to an address of a variable. Consider a pointer as a box that holds the address of a variable. You know that variable is a box that holds a value. If it is an integer variable, it holds an integer value whose size would be 2 bytes. If it's a character variable, it holds a character value whose size is actually 1 byte. Okay, so let's see what are pointers and how to implement, and what all things you can do using pointers. A very basic compiler again, just for C. Okay, so let's start. Yes, let's start. Okay, so declare main, and now I'll define variable, and I'll define pointers, and I'll show you the syntax of how to initialize a pointer. First of all, how to declare a pointer, then how to initialize that pointer, then how to access either the address at that pointer or the value at that pointer. Oops, my bad. Where did you go? Yes, there you are. Okay, so let me declare a variable that is int a, and just for the sake of simplicity, let me define the value excuse me, of int a equals 10. Now you know that this int a is a variable of integer type. A is a variable of integer type who has been assigned a value 10. That means this 10 is actually an integer, so it must occupy 2 bytes. But when we say that it occupies 2 bytes, we consider that it occupies 2 bytes in a memory, right? Because 2 bytes is nothing but a unit of memory or data. Yeah, there's again a whole different thing, because since it is a 32-bit compiler, it takes 2 bytes. Had it been a 64 compiler, it would have been 4 bytes, but don't worry about that. The thing is completely different, at which I'm about to make my point. So it holds a value 10, that is integer. So here in a 32-bit compiler it is 2 bytes. Okay, so next what am I gonna do? Is it 32-bit compiler or 16-bit compiler? Okay, whatever is it, the point is not that. Yeah, so what am I gonna do is I'm gonna declare a pointer now and see the syntax. And pointer also have data types. It can be int, it can be character pointer, it can be a floating type pointer. So I'm gonna take int. To declare a pointer you need to use asterisk, this star sign, it is known as asterisk, and then name of the pointer, say p. Okay, now this pointer p would only and only be initiated by address. I can only initialize an address to this pointer. The pointer p will only hold an address. It cannot hold a value, say 10, 20, 25. No, it would only hold an address, and then that address would be having some value. So say there is address of a, since it is initialized it would be having an address, and if I initialize p with address of a, p pointer would actually hold or would point to the address of a, but then address of a would also have a value that is 10. So how would you actually initialize a pointer? Remember, pointer is only initialized with address, so you would have known that an address of a variable can be accessed using ampersand sign. So p equals ampersand a. This is important because if you don't use ampersand it will give you an error, cannot convert int asterisk into int. What that means is this is int asterisk since it is a pointer, and that had I not been having ampersand here, this would be int, which is a variable. So there's a type mismatch here. Not here. If I don't have this, now it'll be a type mismatch, but always remember to put ampersand here. Now this is how you initialize a pointer. So with pointer you can actually have two things. You can access the address to which the pointer is pointing, or you can access the value kept at the address to which the pointer is pointing. So let me show you. If I print %d just p, what do you think it would print? Just p. You see here p is holding ampersand a. What ampersand a means? Address of a. So if I directly print p, it should print address of a, not the value of a. So I'm going to write two different statements here. Next statement would be printf %d asterisk p. Now what asterisk here? It is known as value at operator. Value at operator. It means print or access the value which is there at the address held by this pointer p. I'm going to repeat again. This asterisk means access the value which is kept at the address that has been pointed by this pointer p. So if this statement executes, it would only give me the value which has been held at this address which is pointed by p. So address which is pointed by p is the address of a, and the value at that address is 10. So this should print 10. We'll see. Okay, I hope everything's done. So you see, this minus 12 is actually the address of A. This is not a value, guys. This is an address. We did not declare minus 12 anywhere in this program. So minus 12 is just the value, oh sorry, just the address of A, and you don't decide the address of A. The address of A is decided by the computer, by the processor, by the compiler itself. So, but what you decide is the value at that address, and that was 10. If you must have noticed here, 10 is the value of the value at that address of A. So this is very basics of pointer. Once again, I'll show you how to access the value at A. Say I want to increment the value kept at the address of A. So in order to do that, I need to access that value first, and in order to access that value, I need to use value at this operator, that means asterisk. So let's see, what can I do? Asterisk p equals asterisk p plus 1. What this would do, this would take asterisk p, that means the value kept at the address pointed by the pointer p, that is 10. Okay, so asterisk p equals assignment operator, that means what is kept at asterisk p is A. Now A equals A plus 1, that means A equals 10 plus 1, so it will be 11. And now if I print asterisk p, it should give me 11. Let's see. Oops. Okay, let me just put a backslash n here, and you would see it better. You see 11. So we actually access the value which is kept at the address pointed by the pointer p, and we actually managed to increment that value. If I do it plus 2, it would be simply 12, and so it is. So this is the very basics of pointers. There's a lot you can do from pointers that you can, and yes, one very basic thing that you can do with pointers is there's a concept in C called by a reference, or called by address, as many people would know it better. That is completely depending upon the concept of pointers. If you don't know pointers, you cannot know how that works. I have already done a video on call by a reference and call by a value, and the very basic difference between the two. I'd put the link in the description so you guys can check it out. It is very important and very necessary too, because every time you need to do swapping and you want that swapping to be taken to be reflected in the main function or any function where you actually have initialized the two variables which you want to be swapped, call by a reference is the best friend of yours. Okay, so if you have any questions, I will in short period of time do a completely more detailed and advanced version of pointers, what you can do with pointers and what all things that come with pointers to make other different concepts, like for example I just mentioned call by reference. So I'll do that videos too. So if you have any queries, please feel free to ask in the comment, to message me. I would be more than happy to help you guys, and do not forget to subscribe, like, share. You know the rules of YouTube, right? Don't have to do that again and again. So So till then, okay, see you later guys.